Hello everyone, hello classmate, and of course hello sir. So this day we will discuss about the roles and the competencies of school heads, which is in chapter 12. So actually this is the last chapter in this lesson. So we will discuss today the roles, the national competency-based standards of school heads, and the competency framework for Southeast Asian school heads. By the way, I am Christian Jake Villanueva together with my group mate
I'm Vinnie Grace Roldan. Expected learning outcome. At the end of this chapter, you should be able to discuss the competencies expected of school head as contained in competency framework for Philippines and for Southeast Asia.
Alright, for us to be enlightened more about the topic, let us first discuss what is the meaning of role. Okay, when we say role, a role is a series of connected behaviors, the rights, the obligations, connections that people in a social meeting conceptualize. So kaya mapapansin natin na sa isang posisyon, meron tayong kanya-kanyang papel. For example, kung ikaw ay isang teacher, huwag mong iaasa sa isang engineer ang pagtuturo sa bata kasi kampanin mo or role mo yon na mag-impart ng knowledge sa mga learners. Same as the teachers. So ang teachers, ang role nila is magturo, and the principals or the school heads is to support them, give the funds that they needed, the resources, and anything that connected into the school or for the success of the school. The next one is the competencies. Okay, when we say competencies, this is the knowledge, abilities, the behaviors and skills of an individual that contributes towards the success, of course, the performance of an organization. Okay, the last one, school heads. So this is actually what administrative and instructional leader. So we know that the primary function of the school is the students' learning. Okay, so the school head spend more time as an instructional leader. He or she further improvise or supervise instruction by observing the teachers. So, mapapansin natin na ang daming responsibility ng isang school head. So, nagka-come up tayo sa thoughts na ang school heads ay andun lang sa opisina niya, nakaupo. Pero they are the one who are responsible for human resources, the financial resources, educational activities, and the well-being of students and the teachers. And of course, the teaching of students. So, sabi nga, good leadership in a school foster nurturing learners and environment that help children grow and develop.
Let's say you know all that. What about your job day to day? Well, there's the goal and there's the daily operations. The main goal is to implement curriculum standards set by the governing body in a district or country. The day-to-day job is that you manage the school, the teachers, and the students. Your target is to get people through school with good grades, and that in turn makes the school look good. If 80% of students are getting straight A's, something is going right, and parents will want to send their kids to that school. The school gets a good name, and the principal can bask in the light emitted from his computer monitor. He doesn't get out much. But another important aspect of this management thing can be a little bit like coaching. Ask any teacher how many meetings they have to attend in which the principal tells them about goals, usually with the aid of some PowerPoint slides and some jokes he thinks are funny. There will be coffee and cake too, which is always a bonus after a 3-hour instructional marathon that keeps getting interrupted by teachers putting their hand up. That coaching is also done in the principal's office, and there's usually a queue of people wanting to see this person. She won't go a day without hearing a complaint from a teacher or having to tell a teacher that they need to improve somehow. The same goes for students. If a particular student is troublesome or lagging behind, he might have to visit that office for a bit of coaching. If that isn't enough, He'll also be in almost constant talks with parents who are just curious about their child or are annoyed about something related to their child's education. That's quite the job in itself, but we're not even close to finishing. A principal will also do workshops, observe teachers now and again, and just walk around and see how things are going. He'll attend events such as concerts or sports games. She'll make sure the school is properly maintained, and in many cases will have to figure out the budget for the huge amount of services and supplies the school needs. He must ensure the school is secure and safe for kids, for teachers, for visitors. He'll know the security guard, if there is one, by name. She'll likely get along with the cleaning staff. He's the face of the school, and so he'll also have to know the community, the people who fund the school, the legislators. This already sounds like too much, but as we said, they're expected to be walking perfection. In some schools, this can be too much, even for a super principal, so he'll have an assistant principal. Heads of the departments also help to lessen his burden, but in the end, they all report to the principal. The job doesn't usually make the list of most stressful jobs, but it can be very stressful, especially if academic standards aren't being met, or parents are constantly screaming at you, or one wayward student just punched you in the face. This can happen, but some principals have gone into schools that were chaos and turned things around. A real super principal can assess problems and find solutions.
As stipulated in Chapter 1, Section 5E of Republic Act 9155, the school head is an administrative and instructional leader. Because the main function of the school is student learning, the school head must spend more time as an instructional leader. He or she supervises instruction by observing teachers while they teach, conducting post-observation conferences with individual teachers, mentoring and coaching them, and ensuring the teachers have the needed resources for teaching, while physical improvement and fund sourcing is the concern of administrative leadership. Help improve schools. The more important concern is improvement of instruction, as this has a direct bearing of learning. More often than not, however, school heads spend more time soliciting funds for flagpole, stage, a classroom, pathway, waiting shed, and etc., and leaving no time left for instructional supervision.
Instructional leader. Instructional leadership is a model of school leadership in which a principal works alongside teachers to provide support and guidance in establishing best practices in teaching. So kaya ang principal ang tumutulong para mag-set ng goals to develop ongoing assessment process for examining their own learning. So pagkatuto ng bata, at kasama na din doon ang improvement sa goal ng isang school. So kaya mapapansin natin na sinusupervise ng isang school heads ang teachers is para ma-strengthen yung teachers' professional competency and magkaroon ng isang quality teacher sa isang institution.
Administrative leader. An administrative leader focuses on accountability, bureaucracy management, enforcing rules, procedural regulation, and administrative chores.
The most misunderstood person in all of education. It's said most people think this person spends all day lecturing students about using bad language and dealing with soppy or melodramatic or overly hostile teachers. But no, they spend much of their time dealing with the bureaucratic education system. The article said the principal is both the administrative director of state educational policy and a building manager, both an advocate for school change and the protector of bureaucratic stability. They're supposed to be an inspiration to all, a cornerstone of righteousness, not only understanding the latest in teaching methods and ensuring standards are met, but they have to get a grip with things like youth culture. It's true, kids will have more respect for a principal who knows what they are about and where they're coming from.
Let's read this. Chapter 1, Section 5E of Republic Act 9155 states that the school head is an administrative instructional leader. First, list down 2 things that the school head does as an instructional leader and 2 things as an administrative leader. An instructional leader supervises instruction by observing teachers while they teach and conducting post-observation teachers conferences with individual teachers, mentoring and coaching them. while administrative leader focuses on the physical improvement and fund sourcing. Number 2. Based on your observations, school head, with which role is the school head more occupied? On my observation, the school head are more occupied to the role of being administrative leader because they are spending more time soliciting funds for the school to be better.
Analysis, let's us analyze. So answer the following questions. Number 1, based on your list and activity pace of this lesson, how does an administrative leader differ from an instructional leader? So my answer is instructional leadership is a model of school leadership in which a principal works alongside teachers to provide support and guidance in establishing best practices in teaching. So while administrative leader focuses on accountability, bureaucracy, management, and enforcing rules, procedural regulations, and administrative chores. Number 2 question. In your opinion, which between the two leadership roles, administrative and instructional, should be given more time by the school heads and why? So in my opinion, instructional leaders should be given more time by the school heads because learning should be given a priority while everything else revolves around the enhancement of learning. Instructional leaders need to know what is going on in the classroom. Without this knowledge, they are unable to appreciate some of the problems teachers and students encounter. Instructional leaders need to work closely with the students, developing teaching techniques and methods as a means for understanding teachers' perspective and for establishing a base on which to make curricular decisions.
Therefore, if you want to do any policy changes, that means you pay attention and you invest on the teacher. Do not invest on air-conditioned rooms, classrooms, etc. Because these things can happen even under the papaya tree. But if the teacher is bobo, no learning happens. So that means if you have limited number of pesos, put it on the training of teachers.
Let's conceptualize competencies for school heads. The NCB SSH in the list of competencies for both instructional leadership and administrative leadership. Let's take a look at the competencies expected on a school head as contained in the National Competency-Based Standard for School Heads or NCBSSH issued on Deped Order 32 Series of 2010 on April 16, 2010. What is NCBSSH? Deped Order 32 Series of 2010 defines it as a list of competencies standard which can be used as a basis for school heads' decision-making, actions, and performance of their functions. This is used as a basis for the preparation of comprehensive training and development based on expected tasks that will be utilized to deliver training program to ensure efficiency, effectiveness, and excellence of school heads' job performance. Now, let us discuss the domains and competency standards of the National Competency-Based Standard for School Head or NCBSSH. The first domain is school leadership. School leadership is a huge responsibility of a school administrator and meeting and to achieve quality educations among learners. This domain emphasizes the effective learners collaborate, create vision, and establish climate for teachers, non-teaching personnel, and teachers to achieve their highest level of achievement. The first competency standard is developing and communicating vision, mission, goals, and objectives or the BMGOs. When you are leading school, dapat meron kang plano and goals para dito. There are 7 performance indicators in this competency standard. First is expresses ownership and personal responses to identify issues.
Number 2, involves internal and external stakeholders in formulating and achieving school vision, mission, goals, and objectives. Number 3, aligns goals and objectives with the school vision and mission to identify issues. Number 4, give personal responses consistent with the school vision. Number 5, communicates the school VMGOs clearly. 6, explains the school vision to general public. And number 7, revisits and ensure that the school activities are aligned with the school VMGO. Performance indicators are 1. Establish BIS or SIS and baseline data of all performance indicators involves all internal and external stakeholders in developing SIP or AIP. Number 2, utilize data like BEIS, SIS, SBM assessment, TSA, and strategic planning and development of SIP or AIP. Align the SIP or AIP with the national, regional, and local educational policies and trust. Number 4, communicates effectively SIP and AIP to internal and external stakeholders. The third competency standard is problem solving. Being a school leader, you should be a problem solver. Dapat alam mo kung paano susolusyonan ang problema sa paaralan. Assess teachers and students to understand that problem. Analyze the cause of that problem and identify solution for that problem. The fourth competency standard in this domain is building high-performance team. This includes exploring several approaches in handling problems, demonstrate a proactive approach to problem solving, involve stakeholders in meeting and deliberation for decision making, set high expectations and challenging goals, provide opportunities for growth and development of members as team players, define roles and function of each committee, monitors and evaluate accomplishment of different teams, give feedback on the team's performance using performance-based assessment tool, and establish a system for rewards and benefits for teachers and staff. Fifth is coordinating with others. When you are a school head, you should collaborate with the staffs on planning and implementing programs for the school and provide feedback and updates to stakeholders on the status of the programs and projects. The last competency standard in this domain is leading and managing change. Maintain an open, positive, and encouraging attitude toward change. Create innovation in school to achieve higher learning outcomes. Advocate and execute plans for change, including culture change in the workplace, and empower teachers and other personnel to identify, imitate, and manage change.
What makes great teachers and great school leaders? Is it their degree or number of degrees? How they build relationships? Ability to engage students? And what makes a great school jurisdiction? Is it about designing district-wide professional learning plans, system leadership, school plans, money and facilities? Generally speaking, people will most likely tell you that it is the teacher that makes the difference in student learning. This idea is supported by research. To learn well, students benefit best from high-quality instruction and a well-crafted curriculum. After that, they benefit from strong school leadership. Great teachers and great leaders are tenacious about learning how to improve instruction. Great jurisdictions engage teachers and leaders in lifelong collaborative and strategic learning opportunities. School jurisdictions make sure that teachers and school leaders become as great as they can be. They understand that the best schools are built on people and put their learning first. They provide support for many and varied learning opportunities. Professional learning communities, collaboration time, peer feedback, coaching and mentoring, professional learning series. If teachers and leaders are engaged in meaningful learning opportunities on a regular basis, ultimately, students will experience quality education and success in learning, living, and life.
The second domain is instructional leadership. Education reforms have created an urgent need for strong emphasis on the development of instructional leadership skills. This domain covers those actions in instructional leadership and technical assistance the school head take or delegates to others to promote good teaching and high-level learning among learners. The competency standards are first assessment for learning, knowing ano ba yung kailangan at alam ng mga estudyante will give you the idea what action need to improve learning. Create and manage a school process to ensure that student progress is conveyed to students and parents or guardians regularly. Next is developing programs or adopting existing programs. When you are a school head, it is your responsibility to provide programs that help learners improve specifically in academics. Adopt those existing programs that greatly help the learners, and you may develop new programs to help them explore and develop new learning experiences. Number 3 is implementing programs for instructional improvement. This includes manage the introduction initiative in line with DepEd policy, works with teachers in curriculum review, manage curriculum innovation and enrichment with the use of technology, and organize team to achieve instructional innovation programs toward curricular responsiveness. Last is instructional supervision. Prepares and implement an instructional supervisory plan. Conduct instructional supervision using appropriate strategy. Evaluates lesson plan as well as classroom and learning management, provides a collegial manner, timely, accurately, and specific feedback to teachers regarding their performance, and provide expert technical assistance and instructional support to teachers. Third domain is creating a student-centered learning climate. This domain requires that effective school leaders set high standards and create high expectations for learners at the same time recognizing their achievement. Competency standards are A. Setting high social and academic expectations. Learning are expected to perform well based on the given set of standards through the supervision of instructional materials and facilities that will help them improve in their academic performance. They are encouraged to work collaboratively to have a more interactive learning experiences. B. Creating a school environment focused on the needs of the learners. A school that is conducive to learning promotes quality education. A school with good environment and good facilities engages students to achieve high academic performance that provide learners what they need to achieve progress and success.
In student-centered learning environment, teachers change their leadership style from being directive to being consultative. If in teacher-centered learning environment, teachers will say, "Do as I say." But in the teacher-centered, they will say, "Based on your needs, let us co-develop and implement a planned action."
Well, the role of the teacher is to facilitate the learning process and to encourage when encouragement is needed, and to be tough when toughness is needed, and to advise when advice is needed.
We need to wear a new cap. All the while, I think lecturers, professors, teachers see themselves as, wearing this cap of just providing knowledge. But I think in a student-centered learning environment, the role of the teacher is more of, I like to call it as the designer of learning and experience. Our role is to design an experience where students will find it meaningful.
Domain 4, HR Management and Professional Development. Effective school leaders develop the skills and talent of those around them. This domain includes the nurturing and supporting of learning community that recruits teachers based on NCBTS and promote the continuous growth and development of professionals based on the IPPD or the Individual Professional Plan for Development, and SPPD or the School Plan for Professional Development. The competency standards are: A. Creating a professional learning community. Builds community of learners among teachers. Assesses and analyzes the needs and interests of teachers and other school personnel. Ensures the School Plan for Professional Development or the SPPD emerge from the Individual Professional Plan for Development or the IPPD and other identified needs of school personnel included in the SIP or AIP. Monitor and coach employees, facilitates the induction in new ones, recognize potential of staff and provides opportunities for professional development, ensures that the objectives of the school development plans are supported with their resources for training and development plans, prepare, implement, and monitor school-based INSET from all teaching staff based on the IPPDs and monitors and evaluate school-based INSETs. C. Managing performance of teachers and staff. Assign teachers and other personnel to the area of competency. Assess teachers and staff in setting and resetting performance goals. Monitor and evaluate performance of teaching and non-teaching personnel PIS, ABIS targets. Delegate specific tasks to help manage the performance of teaching and non-teaching personnel and create a functional school-based performance appraisal committee. The fifth domain is parent involvement and community partnership. Effective school head engage in shared decision-making with community and achieving universal participation, completion, and functional literacy. This domain cover parents and other stakeholders' involvement to raise learner performance. The competency standards are: A. Parental involvement. Establish school and family partnership that promote student peak performance. Organize programs that involve parents and other school stakeholders to promote learning. Conduct dialogues, fora, training of teachers, learners, and parents on the welfare and improved performance of learners. B. External community partnership. Promote the image of the school through school summit, state of the school address or SOSA, cultural show, learners project exhibit, and etc. Conduct dialogues and meetings with multi-stakeholders in crafting programs and projects. Participate actively in community affairs. Domain 6. School management and daily operation. This domain covers the critical role school head play in managing the implementation and monitoring of their school improvement plan or the annual improvement plan. Domain 7. Personal and professional attributes and interpersonal effectiveness. Effective school leaders are models of professional and ethical and moral leadership. This domain includes the development of pride in the nobility of the teaching profession. The competency standards are A. Professionalism, B. Communication, and C. Fairness, honesty, and integrity.
Table 9 Competency Framework for Southeast Asia School Heads. Number 1. Promoting shared responsibility for school improvement. Build trust and lead teams, communities for school improvement. So this is the most important factors that affect the teachers, school heads, students, as well as the school. So para mabuild yung trust, school heads can offer themselves in peer coaching, mentoring, team teaching, professional learning communities, and networking. So sa pamamagitan nun, may strengthen ang teacher relationship at mag-leads yun to the betterment of the school. Number 2, 1.2, empower the community to work for enhancement of school performance. Students' engagement is enhanced when students feel able to exert influence and participate more fully in the classroom, schools, and community. So as school heads, kinakailangan niya ang involvement doon sa community members in school dahil ito ang nagiging way or daan to improve the overall quality of education that students receive. Number 2, managing education alliance and networks. So sabi dito, communicate effectively with different stakeholders. So sabi nga, communication is the key. Effective communication with stakeholders not only aims to ensure they are aware of the objectives and finer points of the project, it also serves to help the organizations and understand those who will be affected by the project, how they will access and interpret information from the organizations, and allow the organization to anticipate how stakeholders will respond. Facilitate school community partnership and activities. Partnership between schools and community groups offer a clear benefit. What is that clear benefit? Okay, they enhance the learning opportunities by providing students with the resources, experiences, and environments they would not otherwise have. Okay, 2.3, promote consensus building. What does it mean? So, consensus building is a process involving a good faith effort to meet the interests of all stakeholders and seek an unanimous agreement.
So, let's decide what ice cream flavor we'll be ordering for lunch. There are 4 options: chocolate, vanilla, Rocky Road, and strawberry. Shall we take a vote?
No, that's not fair, as some of us can't eat some flavors, so that won't work.
Okay, what will work then?
How about getting a consensus on the flavors we can all eat?
This group will never agree on one flavor.
I know. If we don't agree on a flavor within 10 minutes, then we have to write down all the flavors on pieces of paper and pick one out of a hat. How about that as a motivator for consensus?
Okay, let's try it. I'm getting hungry.
Let's vote on each flavor and see where we stand.
Before we do that, I want you all to know that I'm allergic to nuts, so I can't eat Rocky Road.
There went my vote.
There are 3 other flavors. Surely we can find one that'll work for everyone.
Okay, who votes for chocolate? Me.
Me. That's 2 votes.
Who's for vanilla?
Me.
Me. That's 2 votes too.
Okay, that leaves me outvoted for strawberry.
Can you eat vanilla or chocolate, though? If so, what would be your choice?
I guess I was just hoping for something new for a change. I don't feel that strongly about it. Chocolate would be better than plain old vanilla.
Well, even though that's a 3-2 vote for chocolate, I'd just like to remind you all that last time you got chocolate, you were all complaining it was too rich and you didn't get any work done all afternoon because you were so bloated and sleepy.
That's true. How about chocolate frozen yogurt instead?
I'd rather eat worms.
I agree, why bother? What about chocolate vanilla swirl ice cream? Then we can all get some of each flavor?
There's an idea. How about a vote on that? Chocolate and vanilla swirl? In favor?
Yes.
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 Me too. Well, at least we don't have to pull a flavor out of the hat now. There's a relief. Now, who is going to go get the ice cream?
Okay, manage, complete, and practice negotiation skills. In order for the managers to lead and administer any organization effectively, they must be able to negotiate with both internal and external constituents in a way and manner that develops or maintain relationship, create value, and can be utilized cross-culturally. Number 3, sustaining collaborative relationship with stakeholders. 3.1, support community-based programs and project. 3.2, communicate school performance report to the stakeholders. Number 4, managing school resources and system. Okay, manage financial resources. A school manager or overseer is responsible for allocating these funds and keeping accurate records or documents related to these expenditures. Financial management includes overseeing the funding for building and grounds, employee salary, students' programs, supplies, and technology. 1.2, manage learning environments. Okay, to manage the learning environment means to take steps to maximize attention, reduce distraction, and be as productive as possible. Manage system and procedures. A school management system is an information management system for educational institution to manage all students' data. It provides abilities such as registration of students in classes, documenting of grades, and analytical marks of each student and other evaluations element.
Wouldn't it be great if there's one simple system to manage, track, and record everything within your school and organization? Wouldn't it be great if there's one-stop solution to automate your school and management tasks without going through the old-fashioned hassle? Well, easily manage and automate your school, college, and organization's tasks within one single dashboard. Powered and developed by cutting-edge technologies, the AMS has a clean and easy-to-use user interface. With detailed analytics, monitor how your students are performing across your management, from entire school to specific classes to individual students. The software connects the school to a four-way interaction between managements, teachers, parents, and students. Benefits include, for schools, super easy-to-use dashboard, perfectly manage and track attendance, grades, timetable, assignments, and other class information. Students' exam and performance analysis. Easy interaction with parents within the dashboard. Make informed decisions with detailed data and help make the school better. Provide more time to the students with saved time. For managements, easily manage multiple school branches within one single dashboard. Branch-wise performance analysis, financial reports, and MIS reports. Expense management and staff salary generation. Cost-effective one-point solution for total school management. comprehensive data to make better decisions and improvements.
Number 5, managing staff performance. So how to manage staff performance? Manage school personnel requirements. Okay? The function of human resource management in education includes staff maintenance, staff relations, staff development, procurement of staff, and job performance reward. The challenges of human resources management include poor working conditions, problem of staffing funding incessant, transfer of teachers, among others. Support professional development of staff. Organization can support the growth of their employees by creating a management cultures that encourage communication and training. Recognize staff performance. All principals are eager to recognize their star teachers and staff members. Recognizing those stars in public ways can help school leaders highlight the qualities they value most. Rewarding the best teacher can help them set the standard or even raise the bar of staff performance. Number 6, managing sustainable school programs and project. Okay, ano yung mga under nun? We have here demonstrate programs and project management skills and promote school-based programs and projects that support sustainable development. Domain: instructional leadership. Number 1, leading curriculum implementation and improvement. So, number 1 for instructional leadership, as an instructional leader, they are the one who manage curriculum implementation and promote sensitivity of diversity and differentiated instructions, creating a learner-centered. Promote learner-centered activities environment wherein the students are the center, or putting the students at the center of their learning, and they are involved. They are the one who are responsible for their learning. Okay, as a teacher, they are serve as a facilitator. So promote a healthy, safe, and inclusive learning environment. Promote a culture of peace and respect for diversity. Okay, supervising and evaluating. Apply appropriate models for supervision, teacher performance, and evaluations. And the last one is nurture teachers, leaders. Number 4, delivering planned learning. Promote team-based approaches to outcomes instructional leadership. Manage assessments to improve teaching and learning. Those are under the instructional leadership. Domain: personal excellence. Number 1, managing personal effectiveness. Number 1, lead by example. Demonstrate transparency and accountability. Practice a balanced, healthy lifestyle. Take prides in one's professions. Deliver results. Number 2, acting on challenges and possibilities. Manage priorities. Exhibit decisiveness in addressing challenges. Exhibit an enterprising attitude. Number 3, pursuing continuous professional development. Take responsibility for lifelong learning. Advocate ASEAN values and perspective. Domains and competencies for school heads in Southeast Asia. Instructional leadership, like the NCBSSH for Philippines. The competency framework Southeast Asia school heads also include domains for instructional leadership and administrative leadership. The domains of instructional leadership encompasses 4 competencies. What are those? Number 1, leading curriculum implementation and improvement. This is the improvement and implementation of the curriculum. Number 2, creating a learner-centered environment. This is putting the students at the center of their learning, or the teachers involved, the students, they are the one who are responsible for their learnings. So number 3, supervising and evaluating teachers' performance. Delivering planned learning outcomes.
Administrative leadership. This includes strategic thinking and innovation. stakeholders engagement, and managerial leadership. For the enabling competency for each domain, refer to the table above. Personal excellence, another domain, is Domain 3, relates to both instructional and administrative leadership. Whatever personal improvement school head have their personal effectiveness by pursuing continuous professional development redunds to improve administrative and instructional leadership. School head and the community. Like a refrain in a song, the idea that school and communities are partner in the education of the children has been said repeatedly in this book. Rightly so, to be faithful to the descriptive title of this course, the teacher and the community, the school culture and organizational leadership. In fact, in this book, a separate chapter was devoted to school and community partnership to emphasize the significant role of teachers and school heads in relation to communities. In the NCBSSH, several strands and indicators point to this school and community partnership. The strands are as follows. Involve internal and external stakeholders in formulating and achieving school vision, mission, goals, and objectives. Explain school vision to general public. Aligns the school improvement plan or annual plan with the national, regional, and local education policies and trusts. Communicates effectively SIP or AIP to internal and external stakeholders, provide feedbacks and updates to stakeholders on the status of progress and completion of programs and projects. Creates and manages a school process to ensure student progress is conveyed to students and parents or guardians. Recognize high-performing learners and teachers and supportive parents and other stakeholders. Prepare financial reports and submits or communicates the same to higher education authorities and other education partners. Maintain harmonious and pleasant personal and official relation with superiors, colleagues, subcoordinates, learners, parents, and other stakeholders. Listen to stakeholders' needs and concern and respond appropriately in consideration of the political, social, legal, and cultural context. In the Southeast Asia Competency Framework, the following competencies strengthen schools and community partnership. First is promoting shared responsibility for school improvement. Next, managing education alliance and networks. And last is sustaining collaborative relationship with the stakeholders.
Application, let us apply. Okay, number 1, by means of Venn diagram, compare the domain of the NCB SSH and Southeast Asian Competency Framework for school heads. So this is the difference first. NCB SSH focuses on the parents' involvement and the community partnership, HR management and professional development, and creating student-centered learning climate, which is not focused in the other competency. And for Southeast Asia naman, competencies for school head, yun ay nag-focus on the overall competencies divided in the 4 domains. So ano nga ba yung similarities nila, dalawa, ng NCB SSH at Southeast Asian Competencies for School Heads? So here is the similarities. School heads are competent, committed, and accountable in providing access to quality and relevant education for all true transformational leadership and high degrees and professionalism. Number 2 question, what competencies for school heads are common to the NCB SSH and the Southeast Asian Competencies for School Heads? So the competencies that are present to both framework are the school leadership, instructional leadership, and personal excellence. Number 3, what is or are in the Southeast Asian Competencies for School Heads that are not in the NCBSSH? there is a stakeholder engagement in Southeast Asian competencies for school heads that is not included in the NCBSSH. Number 4, what are the NCBSSH that are not in the Southeast Asian competencies? So the present domain in NCBSSH that is not present in Southeast Asian competencies are creating a student-centered learning climate, HR management, and parent involvement and community partnership. Number 5, do the competencies for both frameworks emphasize more on instructional leadership or administrative leadership? Depend your answer. I think both frameworks show instructional leadership because as we observed, they focus more on the school and how it becomes the creator and giver of the knowledge. It also focuses on how to improve instructional materials that will help students to learn better.
A school head is an administrative leader and instructional leader. School heads tend to spend less time for instructional leadership compared to time devoted to administrative leadership. An effective school head gives emphasis on school leadership since good teaching and effective teacher are the most important factors in improving school performance. The National Competency-Based Standard for School Head or NCBSSH and the Southeast Asia Competency Framework for School Head list the competencies expected of effective school head. Let's reflect. Based on the NCBSSH and the Southeast Asia Competency Framework, do you have the making of a school head? Of the listed competency for a school head in NCBSSH and the Southeast Asian competencies, which do you have most and less? What message does this give you as a future candidate for the position of a school head? Taking it to the net, research on the competencies of school heads, school leaders of other high-performing educational systems in the world like Finland, Singapore, and Canada. Will an effective teacher necessarily be an effective school head? What does research say? Clinchers. 1. Which competency or competencies is or practiced by a school head who demonstrate strategic thinking and innovation? 1. Charting the strategic direction of the school. 2. Making informed decision. 3. Leading change and innovation. A. 1 and 2. B. 1 only. C. 2 and 3. D. 1, 2, and 3. Number 2. Which does the school head do as an instructional leader? A. Lead in curriculum implementation and improvement. B. Manage education alliance and networks. C. Manage school resources and system. D. Make informed decision. Number 3. To which domain in school head's competency framework is supervising and evaluating teachers' performance alliance? A. Strategic thinking and innovation. B. Instructional leadership. C. Personal excellence. D. Stakeholders engagement. 4. How can a school head create a student-centered learning climate? 1. Set high social and academic expectation. 2. Prepare financial report. 3. Create a school environment focused on learners. A. 1 only. B. 1, 2, and 3. C. 2 only. Or letter D. 1 and 2. 5. Based on the NCBSSH, what are expected of the school head as school leader? 1. Developing and communicating vision, mission, goals, and objectives. 2. Database strategic planning. 3. Building high-performance team. A. 1 and 2. B. 2 and 3. C. 1, 2, 3. D. 1 and 3.